in the chat. Let us know where you are coming from. Uh, Let us know, are you coming from Southern California, from Colorado, Parker, Colorado? Cool. Missouri, what's up, everybody? Welcome. And as you guys are letting us know where you are coming in from, let me know what you're ripping around on the trails with. I will let you know in just one second what I am ripping around on the trails with. Welcome, everybody. We will get started in just one second. A couple housekeeping items to be aware of. Number one, I cannot see you and I cannot hear you, which means if you have a question throughout tonight's masterclass, please drop it down below in the Q&A section. We have a full team here who will answer all of those burning questions. So if there's something that kind of comes up throughout the masterclass, you're like, oh, wait a second, I want to get a little bit more information about that. Drop the question in the Q&A. If you drop the question in the chat, it might get lost. And again, welcome everybody to August onX Offroad Masterclass. We'll get started in just one second as people continue to pile into the digital room. For those of you who are just joining, again, welcome. Please let us know where you are tuning in from. Grab a beverage. I've got a glass of water right here to get me through the next hour or so. And then let us know what it is you are ripping around on the trails. So tonight you have myself, Andy Zielinski, product marketing for onX Offroad. So I have the joy of working with the product team to kind of plan out what the future of the onX Offroad product looks like, from the different features that we are going to be launching, how that helps you guys out in the field, from either planning your adventure to executing your adventure. So number one, super stoked you are here. And then number two, what I am ripping around on the trails is my 95 Land Cruiser, affectionately named Larry. Actually, I have a fun one for you, and I normally don't do this. You guys are letting me know what it is you are ripping around on the trails. Also, if you have a pet name for your rig, let me know. I think it's kind of fun, like let's share names. Larry, that's the Land Cruiser. Let me know what your rig's name is. And then for tonight, oh, we got the Punisher. Okay, we're serious here. What we got going on tonight? I'm gonna do a feature overview, which will basically cover all of the different elements that the onX Offroad product has to offer. And so things like dropping a waypoint, building a route, et cetera, et cetera. And then I'm going to move into a little bit of how to put the pieces together in planning your adventure and then executing your adventure. And I will be toggling back and forth between my desktop map as well as my phone. So that way, if you're following along, and I do encourage you to follow along, this is one of those classes where I am encouraging you to stay distracted by the map. Okay. So open up the map, play along with me, and then at the very end, if you guys are good students, we have a giveaway, but you got to stick around to the end to find out what is the giveaway and what that is all about. So, without further ado, are you guys ready to get ripping into the product? I'm seeing heads nod, even though I can't see you. Right on. Okay, so for starters, and I'm going to go over a few basics as I mentioned. We have here the onX Offroad web map. So you're going to find this onxoffroad.com, log in, and this is what you're going to be presented with, the map. And along this left-hand side is the toolbar. I will be covering tools along the toolbar. And then just for reference and orientation's sake, this toolbar, if you are on your phone, is actually going to be at the bottom. So if you're like, oh, Andy, where's the Discover? Where's the offline maps on my phone? That's all going to be positioned at the bottom, just so you guys can kind of orient yourself depending on which platform you are looking at. Okay, so for starters, we're going to start up here in the activity mode. So this is just this little button that we call kind of internally the activity mode. So you can see it says dirt right up here with the orange icon. I'm going to go ahead and tap that, and that's going to open up a whole list of filtering options for me to start customizing my map. And it might be too soon for you to be like, well, wait a second. I don't know if I quite want to customize my map just yet. That's fine. Nothing is permanent. It's just simply to kind of get a sense of what trails you want to look for, depending on your rig, your rig's capability, as well as the difficulty level, trail length, etc. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this looks like. So, whoa, 1 second. It just decided to refresh on me. As it reloads, apologies for that. We're going to zoom in here towards Wallace. And I should say, I'm based in North Idaho, the Panhandle. Hello to anyone who is neighbors of mine. So I'm going to zoom in to the Wallace area, the Moon Pass Road. It's sort of the trail that's present right here. And as you can see, right now, I have high clearance 4x4 trails turned on as well as full width roads turned on. Now, the map is going to look a lot different if I select all of a sudden you see a bunch of extra trails start showing up. Trails that are blue, trails that are black, trails that are green. And each color has a distinction. I'm going to scroll down here really quickly just so you can follow along with what the different trail colors mean. Down here on the map legend, I'm going to tap that, and you can see that our motorized trails are organized by difficulty levels effectively. So the green trails or these green lines on the map, that's going to indicate that these are easy trails, kind of between a 1 to 3. The blue is going to be the moderate, so it might require a little bit of extra clearance. A little bit more of a capable rig. Black's going to be difficult, and red, your extreme. In the cases where you might see a brown or dotted gray trail, it's either unknown to motorized access, we may not have data on it just yet, or the difficulty rating is just that, it's unknown. Quick pause before we continue. You might be asking, well, Andy, how are you getting this information on the trails, and how are you categorizing by difficulty? So effectively, these are we have what is called trail guides who we hire from the onX community, and they are out mapping these trails, which means they're going out, they're running these trails, and they're going to provide some really great data and insight into what the trail is like. As an example, I'm going to go ahead and click on the Moon Pass Road to give you kind of a view of what I'm talking about. So here you're going to see that the distance is about 8 miles. You have the high and low point, the difficulty rating as it pertains to kind of the perception of this trail guide, the technical rating, and then depending on the trail type, you're going to see it's either a loop or in this case a point to point. You're going to get a recommendation on the best times to run the trail. For us up here in the North Panhandle, if you are into snow wheeling, like some of these trails may appeal to you, but from this trail guide's point of view, he's saying spring, summer, fall is the best time to rip around Moon Pass Road. And as you can see, this was submitted by an onX trail guide. At times where the trail guide wants their name public, this will be a public facing name. Otherwise, it will be displayed as onX trail guide. The trail guide will also let us know what vehicles that this trail is accessible by. So in this case, accessible by all vehicle types. So Larry the Land Cruiser should have absolutely no problem with the Moon Pass. And then a brief description and photos according to how the trail's looking that day, etc., etc. So when you are out and looking for a new trail to run, I highly recommend filtering. I'm gonna back up here real quick. Filtering the map by the ride type. So in my case, high clearance 4x4, and then figuring out which trails from there that you want to ride around on and have a day. You can also depending on if you're like, listen, I want to cut out the noise and I want to go hit a fairly moderate trail. Easy is fine, but that's kind of boring. You can filter accordingly. Trail length, if you know that you have a certain fixed time and you're like, I just need to go about 20 miles, a couple few hours, you can filter that accordingly as well. I'm going to go back to the Moon Pass Road, and I'm going to talk a little bit about another feature that is super, super important, and one, ironically, that does not have any sort of data on it currently, which is trail reports. Now, right about now, we have close to 64 attendees on this month's masterclass. So, I want you to raise a virtual hand, even though I cannot see you, and say, Andy, I am going to go run a trail this weekend, and I promise I'm going to, number one, check the trail reports, and then number two, I'm going to submit a trail report. Can I get a raise of hands, please? I'm going to show you what that's all about. So, first, you're going to click on the trail, and then if the trail. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it. If you're going to go out and run a trail and you know which trail you want to go run, but it does not have a trail report, then go ahead and tap the button to add a trail report. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And then you're going to select the time, the date that you went out and ran the trail. So let's just pretend this morning, it was today. Don't tell my boss, but it was around 8 to 10 a.m. that I went out for a little cruise with Larry the Land Cruiser. I'm going to select my rig. Now that's highlighted. And the trail status, it was open. Cool. In the case that you ran a trail and let's say a log was down or recent weather had moved through your area and knocked down or had a washout or whatever the case might be, and it was obstructed, you could also select obstructed or temporarily closed or permanently closed. And this is super, super important because this is your guys' opportunity, our off-road community, to go in and basically let the rest of the community know what the status of that trail is. So I'm going to hit open for now, hit next. You will have an idea of like, okay, no, what condition was it? It's been super dry lately, a little bit dusty. How difficult was it? Super easy. This was a mild one. How busy was the trail? So that way it gives us some context to how how the trail is kind of how it's performing that day, if you will. And then you're going to select next. Boom. Now, if you have any photos, which I would encourage you guys, grab some photos, add it to the trail report. Any other descriptions you might have, please add that as well. I'm going to back up though, because I did not run this trail today. I don't want any false information out there. So I'm going to back up. I'm going to click out of this discard. And real quickly, let's just pretend. So I'm going to go through this flow one more time. I did see that someone asked me to slow down. I will slow down. Uh, we do have a lot to cover. So I'm going to try to moderate the pace accordingly. So Uh, Today, the 15th, start time. What did I say? 8 a.m. But what did I say? Don't tell my boss. Larry the Land Cruiser, cool. It's obstructed. Now, in this case, please select what was obstructing the trail. Again, this is really, really important information for the off-road community to be able to let the rest of the community know what the status of that trail is. So, I have a raise of hands. Will you commit? I solemnly commit to leaving a trail report the next time I run a trail. Thank you. I appreciate it. Now, we are going to discard and get out of here. I'm going to go back to my filters really quickly. And I want to show you a couple really, really important and fun and new features that we have been working on. Brand new. So we have had Fire Layer for a while now, and simply tap this and you'll see the fire icons disappear from the map. I'm going to go ahead and tap that one more time, and you can see that there are a couple of fires going on right now. So I'm going to go ahead and tap this fire. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you guys can see what I am looking at. And now you can see the area in which the fire has either spread or the area that it's been contained to. And then you'll be able to get a sense of when the last time we checked the fire information, the source updated, the current acreage that is burning, how much of the fire is contained, and where we are getting some of that information from. I'm going to then back out of here really quickly, tap this one more time, and then you can see, oh, let's get over here. I'm going to add a smoke layer and air quality index. Zoom back out a little bit. And what this is going to be able to provide is the ability to understand what the air quality is like. So if you are in an area where there's a lot of active wildfires and you are sensitive to smoke and you would rather not be in an area where there's a lot of extra smoke, this is something to really pay attention to. So at different zoom levels, you're going to have different information presented to you. So I'm simply zooming out on the map to kind of get a broader view. Oh, this is interesting. Down by Lewiston East a little bit, I'm seeing some dots. These dots are highlighting hotspots within the fire area. So again, just there is some more information that we are trying to provide you as the off-roader to be able to really appropriately plan your off-road adventure. I'm seeing some questions. So the first thing is, this is a brand new feature that has been launched to the desktop version. So that is out now. So if you go to onX Offroad on your desktop, your computer, you'll see these layers added. If you're on your mobile device, we are rolling that out over the next couple of weeks. And we have worked really hard to kind of push that through the cycle, especially during peak fire season. So if you do not see those layers in your app today, you will see them in the next couple of weeks. So please go back, refresh, make sure that you have the updates turned on so you're getting the latest from what we have to offer. So fire layer, we are unfortunately kind of in the thick of it. So please, please, please have that information available to you. Be checking it often and make sure that you understand what it is you are getting into. And now let's go. I'm going to zoom back out here. Sorry. I want to get back up to kind of my neck of the woods in Coeur d'Alene area. And I am going to now start kind of walking you through a few other tools that really help the planning process. Okay. So, number one, let's just pretend you are in an area where you might be new, or maybe you're bored of the trails that you've been ripping around on, and you're like, "Ah, I want something fresh, something new." Go over to the Discover tab, tap the Discover tab, and there you will be presented with trails from within about 100-mile radius of where you are at. So either you are looking for new trails around you currently, or if you know that you're going to be traveling out of state and you want to start planning out an adventure, you can do that as well. So let's pretend I am new to the Idaho area. And so I'm hitting the Discover, and I have a whole list of trails. And just from this list alone, I can see the name of the trail, and if you hover over, like I am right now, so I'm not hovering, I'm hovering. And now you can see the Lower Martin Creek Trail highlighted both uh, as the card or thumbnail, as well as the trail on the map. And you can also see the distance or length of the trail, as well as the difficulty. Again, something that is just super easy for you to kind of orient your next adventure around. I'm going to select Huckleberry Mountain. That sounds fun. No trail report has been added here. If you live in the North Idaho area and plan on running Huckleberry Mountain, you have your task in front of you. Leave a trail report. I can see that Snug Snuggly Britches was the trail guide that left this report. Thank you, Snuggly Britches. And the accessibility, cool, all ride types. So again, if you're interested in finding new trails, the Discover tab is there for you. And then in the case where you might be like me, like my memory is going. Sometimes I don't even know where I left my keys, which is pretty terrible. You can always save the trail, and that trail will be saved to what's called the My Content tab, which is effectively where all of your content, which I'll get into in 1 second, where all of that information is housed. So that way you sort of have a record or catalog of information that is pertinent to your off-roading adventures. Now, I'm interested in this Huckleberry Mountain region, so I'm going to start thinking about what it is I need to do around this area to have a successful off-roading adventure. The thing I'm going to need, number one, is an offline map. So I'm going to move over from the Discover tab down one or over, if you're on your phone, to the Offline Maps tab. Go ahead and tap that. And now, depending on where you want that map to be, I'm going to orient my map kind of in the center. I'm going to go ahead and tap on New Map down here at the bottom, the orange button. And then I'm going to position my map right there in the center of the Huckleberry Mountain area. You will have a few options of satellite imagery that you can choose from. I generally like to have a medium resolution because that is plenty for me. But if you are worried about certain obstacles, maybe you have selected a really difficult trail and you're like, I just really need all of the extra detail. You can zoom in and get high resolution. And if you're like, actually, I just need the basic area, I don't really care about resolution, you can go ahead and select low. But honestly, our phones are capable of downloading a ton of these offline maps with no data discrepancy or issues to your device. So that's why I generally just select medium because it's the information I need. It's reliable. So I'm going to go ahead and select medium here. I am going to name my map Huckleberry Mountain. And this is really important so that way I can make sure that it's easily identifiable in my offline map list. And then I am going to, you can show offline map preview, which is nice. So when you select the preview, if you're like, you're worried about what is your map's going to look like, hit the preview, check, you're good to go. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit save. This is really, really, really important because if you don't hit save, then that map is not saved. Huckleberry Mountain was area was created and saved to your account. Now, what's really important to know is that if you are building your offline maps on your desktop, it will automatically save to your app. So the next time you open up the app on your phone or your tablet, the offline map will be there. So, okay, got it. Now you can see that there's a green perimeter around this Huckleberry Mountain. That is my map, okay? Now I'm gonna switch really quickly to, hopefully this is seamless. I'm gonna switch quickly to my phone. Can I get a thumbs up if you see my phone? I'm assuming you can. Yes, thank you. Okay, so this is not the same area that I just built. This is not Huckleberry Mountain. But I'm gonna build a offline map in this area so that way you can see what that looks like because this is really, really, really important, especially on your mobile device. So go ahead, tap the offline map tab, sorry, select new map, the same prompts as you are seeing on desktop will be on your mobile device. There's a lot of parity between the desktop and the mobile version. So in case you're like, oh, Andy, is this going to be the same? Generally, yes. Map detail, cool. I'm going to say demo for the sake of time. Done. I'm going to hit save. Large map. Cool. That sounds good to me. Now, you can see on my mobile, it's starting to download. And if you hit pause, then let's see what happens. Can you see that there's a candy cane ring or rim around that map? If you can, that means that the offline map was not downloaded. Again, to be very clear, if for some reason the offline map download process gets paused on your mobile device, it will not be present if you lose, or partially it will be present if you go into an offline area. And this is really important to know because I have heard countless times, Andy, I thought I had an offline map saved, but it came up and no, Kevin, it does not taste like candy cane, unfortunately. It tastes like a bummer when you're out in the field and you don't have your offline map saved. But if you see that candy cane ring around it, make sure that you go back to resume the download. And then a little trick that I like to tell myself is green means good to go. So you have the green check next to the map name. You see that green perimeter then present on the map. Now that map is fully downloaded. And the reason why I want to make that distinction is it's very easy when you're making maps on desktop to assume it is that quick when you're making an offline map on your mobile device. But let's say you're at a coffee shop or you're at a pub or you're at the trailhead and you're trying to make an offline map and you're just frantically building them and then you go rip off to the trail and you don't see that green check, well, then you might be in for an adventure. Okay, let's go back to the desktop. Hopefully that was all clear. Now we're gonna move right along to the my content. Now I kind of want to caveat this section of the demo real quickly. I'm going to open up the my content tab. I'm going to kind of cover a few elements and then I'm going to transition into how to build a plan and execute the plan because the my content zone, think about it as like your hub. It's where everything is built and put into one spot. So I'm going to open this up and then I'm going to start bouncing around to kind of build out this plan. So, my content, a few things to know. Number one, if you are coming from a different product, navigation software, and you have waypoints, GPX files, KML files that you want to pull over because you have already built out plans, you have points of interests marked out, you can go ahead and import those seamlessly. Just drag and drop from your computer, pull them in, and then off you go to the races. They will all start loading into your content. You can organize them from there. And then what I love to do is I love to build out folders. And so this is kind of like an area where organization is really up to the individual's preference. But for me, I like to have stuff kind of stacked in order. So that way, if I'm building out a plan and I am the trip planner, then I'm going to be able to have a central place to package that and then share that information out. So for this case, Mike, check this out. Mike and I were on a bit of a trip, and I put together some waypoints for some camp spots, some routes where we would go scout out. I showed him a route that I was building for the Masterclass, an area up here, 4th of July Pass that we wanted to go rip around on. And then, you have the ability to share it out with your buddies simply by hitting share. And you will get a shareable link, which can be shared via text message, via email. And what's cool about this is you will share out a copy of that folder, but it will not be a share of the master folder. So in the case that maybe you are the trip leader, if you have certain elements within the folder that you do not want to get messed up, let's say a route, or maybe it's a waypoint that you dropped and you don't want that to get messed up for the rest of the group. Let's say I share this with Mike. Mike will have access to the copy. He can go in and he can edit and make a copy for himself, edit so he has this folder saved locally on his device, but it won't mess up the groups folder, which is really, really important. So there are folders, and the elements that can be contained within the folders and within your content space will be tracks, routes that you have built. And to be clear, tracks are if you've gone out and you've driven around and you've hit go and track or record on your mobile device, whether a phone or tablet, that's going to be recorded, stored as a track. A route is a route that you go in and build. I'll show you that in 1 second. A waypoint, sort of self-explanatory, but if it's a point of interest, if it's a place where you're looking to camp for the night, you drop that waypoint. Lines are kind of in there, depending on your preference. Lines are important if you just need like as the crow flies, distance from A to B, you can use a line to get that reference point. And then an area, which is kind of cool because if you are traveling with a larger group and you're trying to find some dispersed camping kind of out on some BLM, and you want to make sure that that land is going to be able to hold your crew, you can build out an area and it'll kind of show you the relative acreage. So I'm going to go ahead, turn off my fire layers just so I'm not distracted. Oops. And let's go ahead and build out a plan, shall we? So let's just say, for the sake of the demo, I am going to zoom in to this area. I'm going to select, all right, I already have the trails that this is that is selected that is going to be able to be for my rig. Let's go back to the Moon Pass from Wallace. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more. And then I'm going to go ahead. I want to first get to Moon Pass Summit right here. I'm going to go over here to tools and build a route. So this is sort of step one in my route or in my planning process is looking to see where it is I want to go, making sure that my vehicle can get me there. So I have the trail filter dialed. I'm ready to go. Now I just need to know how I'm going to get there. Okay. Is Wallace the center of the universe? Depends. If sure, yeah, maybe for you, not for me though. I think the center of the universe is, that's a good question. I'll answer that later. I don't know where the center of the universe is. But okay, let's go ahead, build my route. And as you can see, I haven't added a second click. I'm actually going to back up because I did that kind of quickly. Discard. It's in the middle. Yeah, hey, Travis, that's smart. It's in the middle. Okay, so look at this. I'm gonna hit first click, boom. And then now I am just kind of dragging my cursor along the trail. And this route is just snapping. Oops, got a little excited. It's snapping right to the trail. And as I'm building out this route, you can see that it's starting to show me the elevation profile, elevation gain, loss, which is kind of important. I don't know if it's like dire. You have the route color to select. I'm gonna go ahead and select red because it's just easy for me to see when I'm out on the trail. It's distinct. You can change your style. I'm gonna make it dashed, but you can have it be dotted or single line. The thing is about how this is displayed on the map is it could be that the route kind of blends with the trail. And if you kind of want that distinction, I would personally recommend having the style be dashed or dotted. And then I always opt for the weight to be thick because I have the, on my RAM mount in my truck bouncing around a little bit. So I just want to be able to have it clearly visible. How did I get to the route builder? So if you go up to the tools, it's just gonna, here, let me just pause this. I'm gonna go ahead and hit save. If you go up to the tools right here, you're going to see build route. And again, you're just going to hit drop 1 point. As soon as you drop that 1 point, it's going to begin building that route. And if you're like experiencing what I just experienced, which it does happen, is let's just say I'm going to build another route from there. So route two, call it segment two. It may not happen now because I'm on a fairly distinct trail, but at times you might see that that route is wanting to that route line, I should say, is wanting to bounce. And that's because it's looking for the fastest route possible. That's how the routing engine on the backside is sort of built. Okay. So if you're like, well, Andy, why does it keep like snapping to this other section and it's not following the trail that I want it to? You might have to add a couple of clicks to sort of stitch that route together along that trail because it's trying to grab the fastest route possible to the end spot, but it's also there might be a not a glitch in the data of the trail, but that trail might be missing an element to where it's, if for some reason, not recognizing it. Generally, the way to fix that is to continue to add little points. It'll build that route all together, and then you'll have a complete route. So let's just say I'm going to end my adventure just right here at this icon, Moon Pass, and I'm going to go ahead and hit save. You can name the route anything you want to, just right up here. I did not name it, unfortunately, so I can't show, I can edit it. Masterclass demo, save. Cool. Now this, like I said, this is going to be saved to your content area. And if you want to add it to a folder, super simple. So let's just say Mike's, I've got this folder that I'm sharing with Mike. I'm going to add this to that folder. Mike, check this out. Select that, MC demo, add it to the folder. Cool. But then let's just say, I don't know, Ryan, I see you up there sorry guys, if you have questions, please make sure that they're going in the Q&A because I'm trying to keep the demo going. But Ryan, I'm going to share this with you. So I'm going to simply hit share. And this is great because let's just say like in real time, you are trying to kind of build out a cool, fun adventure. You're like, oh, cool, this is a rad little route that I built, and you're excited to share it. You can share the route right there, no sweat. Now, from there, let's just say I want to get a little bit more precise because this is going to be an overnight trip, and I want a spot to camp. Now, number one, I am going to go back to my filters really quickly. One thing I did not touch on, which is super important, is private land information. Okay, so uh, I'm going to go ahead and tap this. I'm going to go ahead and tap that. And now I'm going to be presented with you see these red kind of perimeters around here. This is going to show where the private land information is and if you are on public or private land. In this case, I'm in the clear. So let's just say, again, I'm making this up. I'm not going to recommend that we are going to go camp here, but maybe there's a spot to camp along Moon Pass. I'm going to zoom in and the North Fork. And I want to go ahead and I'm going to zoom in one more time. I'm going to find a little notch that I can pull over and camp along the trail. I'm going to select down here. Again, I'm trying not to go too fast. I'm going to go down here in the lower right-hand corner to satellite view or my base maps. And I'm going to stay in satellite. I prefer satellite. Other people prefer to have hybrid where they're seeing the topo lines. Others kind of want the simple, beautiful topo map. I like the extra detail of the satellite though. So I'm going to keep it on satellite and I'm going to switch over to 3D. Now, this is really, really important and powerful, especially if you're going into an area where you're like, I really want to camp for the night, and I need to know if this area is going to be a place where my rig can pull over and have a spot along the trail to camp. So, for the sake of the demo, let's just say right here. I'm going to add a waypoint. I'm going to come over here to my tools, add a waypoint, drag this right here. This doesn't look like maybe the most ideal spot to camp, but for the sake of the demo, we're just going to go ahead and do it. And then this is going to be camp night 1. And then you can customize your icons so that way it's super easy to make sure that you're like, okay, like this is my camp for the night. I'm going to highlight it green. Any notes? This is along the Moon Pass Road. And then you can add it to the folder. You can add photos, super customizable, and boom, you hit save. And now you have a route, you have a camp spot. What's the last thing that I probably want to do before I feel confident in my planning of this trip? Anyone? Anyone? I need to make an offline map. So before we end this demo, I'm gonna add an offline map right here. New map. This is the zone I want to be in. And Moon Pass Road. Save. Now, you have your route built. You've scoped out the territory to know if you can camp there. You've dropped a waypoint. You've saved your offline map. You've put all of this together in a folder. You're sharing that folder with your buddies. You're off to the races. You're ready to go. That is all of the features. That's how to plan, execute your adventures. We have a few super fun tools that are coming out here in the near future, fall time-ish. So be on the lookout. But I know that you guys are anxiously awaiting a new car. So let's see who gets a car. JK, but you guys might get a straw hat. These sold out almost immediately last time we launched this. So we decided to hold a few hats for tonight's masterclass. There are going to be 5 that we're going to give away. This is a rad hat. Now, there's no purchase necessary, but an onX Offroad account is required. So a basic or free account, you have access that way. Check your emails tomorrow. If you have any questions, number one, I want to say thanks for tuning in. This has been recorded. It will be on YouTube tomorrow. We have a ton of educational content. So if there's any like lingering questions, go check out YouTube. We have a bunch of how-tos. We have a ton of fun content out there. Check us out on Instagram. Check us out on Facebook, on Snap, all over the places. And hopefully we see you out on the trails here soon. Until then, take care. Have a great August. Hopefully, not too many fires out there. But if there are, check the fire layer. It's a new one. Tell your friends, share your plans. Take care.